everyone, it's Taylor here. I hope you'll join me today as we create 2 Father's Day cards using one background panel. I'll be using the Brushstroke Basics stamp set, which was designed to coordinate with the words in the building blocks hymn, so you can personalize your cards, saying Happy Father's Day Dad, Grandpa, Hubby, Great-Grandpa, etc. The building block stamp features our innovative alignment system with the die to cut out all of those words at the same time. I'll also be using the inside scoop for him, along with the Plaid Layering Stencil and 2 different heart dies, Heart Stacklets and Little Bits Hearts. I'll be adhering my stencil with pixie spray before I do my blending with 3 different colors of blue. I'll be using Gumball, Saltwater Taffy, and Blueberry along with my blender brushes. I'll also be using Oreo ink to stamp my sentiments, along with Versamark white embossing powder and my powder tool. I'll be popping certain places up with my 1/2-inch foam tape square roll. We're going to start with the plaid stencil. You can see it has those alignment squares around the outside of the design. I've taped it down to my placemat so my cardstock will not move, and I've sprayed pixie spray on the back of this stencil. Pixie spray is a necessity with these stripes because they will move around on you if you do not have them tacked to your paper very well. I've made sure to go over those square marks off onto my placemat so that when I rotate this to blend with the second color, you can line up those alignment squares just perfectly with the first layer that you did. So once I've blended that with the Saltwater Taffy and the Gumball ink, now I'm coming in and lining up the single stripe and blending that with Blueberry. Again, making sure I align those squares all the way around the outside to make sure those lines will be in exactly the place where I want them. I've shifted and rotated that stencil again so that I can get the vertical lines with the dark Blueberry ink. Now that the plaid patterned panel is finished, I'm going to show you how to create 2 cards from this one panel. I'm using the Heart Stacklets die to cut a heart out from the middle of the larger piece, and I'm going to start by creating a card with that larger background piece. I've placed it over the top of a blueberry piece of cardstock exactly the same size, and I've aligned my Happy Father's Day sentiment within that open heart. I've conditioned the cardstock with my powder tool to make sure none of those loose bits of embossing powder stick where I don't want them to. So I've put my fine detail white embossing powder over the top and heating that. Once I heat it, I will wipe it with a clean cloth to buff any of that excess powder off of the top. I want to pop up this design over the sentiment, so I'm going to use my foam tape squares to give it a little bit of extra dimension. Next, I'm going to work on personalizing this card for my dad. I'll be using the building blocks hymn, which features several different words to describe the men in our lives. You'll find everything from dad, grandpa, son, papa, brother-in-law, father-in-law, son-in-law, daddy, dude, uncle. Lots of different words that you can use to personalize the cards for men in your life. I'm going to cut that out, lining up those 4 squares and all of those 22 words cut out together in one pass. I'm popping that up with foam sticky circles at the bottom of my Happy Father's Day sentiment so that it reads Happy Father's Day, Dad. I'm adhering the card panel to a blueberry card base, leaving a small strip of blueberry showing at the bottom, and I'm adding a few different die cut hearts from the Little Bits Hearts set. Next, I'll be creating a card from the larger heart that we cut from that first panel. I'm going to create this with a sentiment that's perfect for my kids to give to their dad. It says, Dad, 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 and that is definitely something we hear a lot around our house. I wanted to add a tone-on-tone plaid to the background, so I'm taking that first stencil and just blending blueberry ink over blueberry cardstock to get a tone-on-tone effect for the background of this project. I'm going to pop up that heart that I stamped the sentiment on using my foam squares, and then I will again add a few extra hearts from the Little Bits Hearts collection with my Tombow Mono Multi-Liquid Glue. Now once this is finished, I can take my sugar cube card base, and again I'm going to do the trick where I leave a little bit of white space, a strip of white along the bottom of that card base. And finally I'm going to finish off the inside of the card with a sentiment that says, just wanted to say I love you. Because a lot of times our girls will yell Dad, and all they really want to say is I love you. So I think this will be perfect for both my dad and my husband for Father's Day. 2 cards from one panel. I hope you're feeling inspired by today's project, and you can find all of these products at the Tailored Expressions web store at tailoredexpressions.com.